Pablo Escobar is synonymous with the Colombian cocaine trade, having founded and led the prolific Medellin cartel during its 21 years of operation. At the time of his death at 44 years old, the king of cocaine secured a net worth of approximately $30 billion. And with all that wealth, you can bet the drug lord lived a life of opulence and extravagance, spending a lifetime's worth of cash at the drop of a hat. Though Escobar is best known for the villainy he brought with his drug trade, in 1984, at 35 years old, he earned a comparison to Robin Hood when he sunk an undisclosed amount of money into a downtrodden neighborhood in East Medellin. The region became known as Medellin without slums, as Escobar improved the region's quality of life by ordering the construction of 250 homes for the homeless. Though the national government of Colombia tried to stop the development of the neighborhood, Escobar pushed on, using his drug money to create a new way of life for those living in his nation's poorest city. It wasn't until long after his death that the Colombian state legalized the homes built by Escobar. When you bring in an estimated $420 million a week, there's a good chance you're going to splurge on yourself. And splurge is what Pablo Escobar most certainly did. The former drug lord had what he likely considered to be smaller purchases, like the Rolex day date seized by government officials. Enshrouding the gold bracelet and face were hundreds of diamonds, skyrocketing the value of the Rolex to an estimated $70,000. That watch was later sold at auction for nearly a tenth of the value in 2013. However, not all of Escobar's riches could be worn on his wrist. The drug lord clearly enjoyed the finer things in life. And what's finer than being able to travel wherever you want in the world, without being sandwiched between two people? Though it was often used to cart mounds of illicit cash, Escobar's Learjet transported the drug lord across the many islands the Medellin cartel inhabited throughout the Bahamas. As busy as the cartel leader was, he still needed his comfortable spots to relax and enjoy a restful night's sleep. For a man like Pablo Escobar, though, that's far more than a quaint hotel room or a Motel 6. Escobar was a man of many homes in many locations. The most notable of these was the Hacienda Nápoles, a private escape with an airstrip for his 15 airplanes. Built 93 miles east of Medellin, the 7.7 square mile estate wasn't your average home. By the time the drug lord was done with it, the Hacienda Nápoles featured a fully functional zoo, complete with elephants, giraffes, ostriches, and other exotic animals. When the animals weren't entertaining enough, Escobar could admire his collection of rare vehicles. The prize of his collection was his 1973 Porsche 911 RSR. Especially considering only 15 cars of this model were manufactured. His specific 911 also happened to belong to Brazilian Formula One legend and champion Emerson Fittipaldi. At the Hacienda Nápoles, Escobar mounted a Piper PA-18 Supercab airplane to the roof and had a bull ring constructed on site for his entertainment. Like any good Colombian drug lord, his property also featured a go-kart track and was littered with reconstructed dinosaur skeletons, decommissioned military vehicles, and prehistoric animal statues that children frequently climbed and played on. All of this was built on Escobar's dime, and when the Colombian government seized the property, it was valued at just over $2.2 million. This Colombian mansion may have been Escobar's most well-known residence, but it was far from his only one. Being chased by government agencies, Escobar was forced to duck into hideouts all across South America. One of his most lavish was Casa Malca, in the resort of Tulum. The resort has since been stripped of its abundances, but in its heyday it was precisely the kind of place you'd expect to find the king of cocaine. Many of his hideouts were even scattered across the Caribbean Sea. A secret complex commissioned by Escobar was located on the Caribbean island of La Isla Grande. Within the sprawling escape was a mansion for the drug lord himself, apartments for those that traveled with him, a swimming pool, and the ever-necessary landing pad for his 6 helicopters. In addition to these locations, Escobar also had a 6,500 square foot waterfront mansion in Miami, Florida, that was later purchased by Christian de Berduare's company, Ambassa Holdings, in 2014 for $9.65 million. While the drug lord had many buildings constructed in his lifetime, it's possible his best use of money was the construction of La Catedral, an extravagant prison that he built for himself as part of a deal with the Colombian government. The agreement kept Escobar in Colombian custody for a 5-year term to prevent extradition to the United States, where his money likely wouldn't have bought him safe passage. Hotel Escobar, as many called it, was home to a football pitch, a man-made waterfall, a jacuzzi, a bar, an oversized dollhouse, and a back gate that Escobar later walked through to escape when his actions on the property roused concerns from the Colombian government. There was one sweet addition that Escobar installed, a telescope that looked down into Medellin at his daughter's residence so he could see her while he talked on the phone with her. And these are only the treasures we know about. It's more than likely the king of cocaine purchased so much more in his life that was either lost over the years, sold by private parties, or never discovered during raids. There may even be items still hidden throughout Colombia, as demonstrated by the fact that a nephew of the drug lord found $18 million worth of cash in one of Escobar's properties. For Pablo Escobar, money was expendable. He had a healthy supply of it rotating in and out of his accounts, ensuring he could live beyond comfortably and keep his empire running. So if he had to burn $2 million in cash just to keep his daughter Manuela from succumbing to hypothermia, he would. And according to Escobar's son, now known as Sebastian Marroquin, he most certainly did during their time in a mountainside hideout. It's important to remember that $2 million to a man like Escobar is the equivalent of pocket change. This is the same man who allegedly lost $2.1 billion annually due to rats, damage, or theft, and did little to try to rectify the issues. He simply had too much money to care, and likely too much to be able to track every significant purchase he made. Pablo Escobar certainly lived an extravagant lifestyle and enjoyed his riches while it lasted. But is there anything that Escobar spent his millions on that we missed? Let us know what you think in the comments section below.